It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I'm just waking up, getting my day started. I just arrived in Arizona in the wee hours of the morning, so expect content, interviews, shorts, those kind of things from Valdez Wilson and Sinisa Valle weigh-ins today. But nonetheless, before I get my day started, I had to come out here and just speak about this Nicholas Walters versus Joseph Adorno fight because it was happening last night while I was flying. And man, the Axeman is back. He's turned back the clock in a mighty and major way. And what a story! I mean, I'll before I get into the fight, I'll say this: regardless of what happens the rest of this year in boxing, Nicholas Walters is hands down the 2024 comeback fighter of the year. To go through what he's went through, what is it? He retired for like 6-7 years, working himself back into shape. You're fighting a guy who's 14 years younger than you. You're not supposed to win these fights, and he found a way to win. And as far as the fight, man, we'll start with Walters on a positive note. I thought Walters in this fight showed a bit of his evolution and his maturation as a fighter. Because when you think about Nicholas Walters back in the day when he was knocking guys out at featherweight, you don't think of a guy that was crafty. You don't think of a guy that necessarily beat guys with the jab. You think of a guy that was very explosive, slugger, sometimes the explosive counterpuncher. In this fight with Adorno, he showed himself be much more of a savvy veteran, a guy that he recognized when to throw punches, when to be more defensive. He just understood situational boxing better than a guy like Adorno. I was really impressed, especially in the first 3 rounds, that Walters was able to get his jab established so quickly. Adorno was losing the battle of real estate in the jab early. So that allowed Walters to close the gap. And there'd be times, too, and I thought Walters did a great job of this. There'd be times, too, where Walters would throw a jab to the head, throw a jab to the stomach, and then sometimes sneak in a little hook to the body. So he was doing some good work there. There were instances in this fight, in one time in the middle rounds and one time in the later rounds, where the handful of times where Adorno just let his hands go, and just committed to throwing sharp, precise shots, they had a real effect, a lasting impact on Nicholas Walters. He had his nose bloodied, but he wasn't able to continue to follow up, So that's been the kind of, in my opinion, for most of Adorno's career in the big fights against the guys like Jermaine Ortiz, Michel Rivera, Elvis Rodriguez, and now this fight. A lot of posing, a lot of posturing, not enough volume. And it's quite sad because if Adorno actually did put his punches together and he did commit more to some offense, you could see he's got some skills, but it is what it is. He's 20 plus fights into his career. He kind of is who he is at this point, tendency-wise. But Walters did a great job, too. And another punch Walters did a great job landing was the uppercut. He was setting up the uppercut very well. I think it was like the 10th round, the 10th and final round. He landed like 5 or 6 uppercuts. So, look, overall, this is not on many people's bingo cards for Nicholas Walters to come back here in 2024 and score what for him is a very good win. Being 38, being retired from boxing for more than half a decade, and to come back against a young 24-year-old fighter and Adorno, it's a great win for him. And one thing about it, man, and this is what I always say about boxing, is like you can measure a fighter's record on paper. You can measure a lot of things about people on paper, but you don't really know what's in that spirit. You don't know what's really in somebody's heart. You don't really and truthfully know why somebody's still fighting. So Walters, from looking at him in interviews going into the fight, from looking at the game plan he executed on fight night, he has the body language and the demeanor of somebody who, with whatever he has left in his spirit and his mind and his soul, and from a physical standpoint, he's going to give it all he's got to boxing. And you know what? He's already a winner for that, because a lot of fighters don't even do that half the time. So I'm not really sure who he could fight next. I mean, I've seen people say, like on Twitter and stuff, like Jose Pedraza would be a good fight. I mean, that'd be a good fight, but personally, look, Nicholas Walters is Nicholas Walters. He's the former champion. He's the Axeman. Whoever they want to match him up with, whatever boxing dictates that he wants to fight next, I'm all for it. I want to see him in the ring because I saw a fighter in there that's still pretty damn good. Still pretty good. Still a guy that has some things to show in the sport and is hungry to show them and just display them to the world in the sport. So happy for him, man, because I liked Nicholas Walters back in the day, and I was quite sad when, not that he lost, but that he lost in such devastating fashion as Lomachenko and just left the sport. It was one of boxing's biggest, most unsolved mysteries. But listen, he's came back, and credit to him. He showed himself to have a lot of character and a lot of resilience and just a lot of great things as a person. So congrats to him on the win. As for Adorno, look, I don't like to write fighters off. I don't like to, who am I to tell fighters what they can and can't do, right? But you look at Adorno, he's 24. He's lost to Walters. He's lost to Ellis Rodriguez. He's lost to Michelle Rivera. He's lost a lot of fights. And this is one that he was not supposed to lose. He was a favorite. He was a minus 600 favorite at the betting odds before the fight started. So it's like, it's very sad, that he called himself blessed hands, but he's just not putting his punches together. And psychologically, I think that's where he lost his fight. Walters was able to, when he was hurt and when he was buzzed, he never showed it. He had a good poker face. And while I think Joseph Adorno is a great example of a fighter who, has talent, but talent can only get you so far. He's never been able, in my opinion, from the fights I've watched, has never been able to fully, properly apply himself in the boxing ring. And it is what it is. That's why boxing is such a tough sport to make it in, because it requires so much more than just talent. So that's my summary on the fight. Congrats to the Axeman. He's back. I can't wait to see him in the ring again. And best wishes out to him on the rest of his boxing career. I sure as hell know I'm going to be following it as it progresses, whatever is left of it. So leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm at the Boxing Hall of Fame out here in Canterbury, New York. And for more great boxing content just like this video, make sure you click and subscribe right over here.